Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind podcast, built for real estate professionals that want to work less, earn more, and make an impact in their community. For information on how you can become part of the estate professionals community, visit probatemastery.com. Welcome, everybody. This is the Estate Professionals Mastermind. If you're listening after the fact on podcast or YouTube, you're welcome to show up live next time. We do this every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Ton of you guys are on all those calls, so you're already familiar faces. Just want to kind of welcome you guys back in. If you're new, welcome here. Just a little bit of a format for the calls today is it's kind of open mastermind. I'll typically either talk myself or talk with one of our other subscribers a little bit about different techniques and tools and things that they're doing in their markets that are working. But mainly it's for you guys to be able to ask questions. So no question is too basic. No question is too advanced. We can get into deal breakdown that you guys have going on, or you could say, hey, I don't know what probate is. So if you want to engage and ask a question, this is your chance to get a little bit of free coaching. We've got a bunch of veterans on here. We've got a few coaches. Bill Gross, good to see you. Speaking of coaches and veterans in the probate space, we got Mr. James Lee in the room, making moves. He's trying to plug his earbuds in, so he probably didn't even hear me call him out. So anyway, just want to welcome you guys. Kind of open it up and start with questions. I would like to maybe go to either Bill or David Cordero, whose camera just went off. Those guys always have a lot going on. Find out what's happening in their markets, what they're seeing. Bill, how's it going, man?
Going great. Wrapping up a great year. Had a court confirmed sale last week that should close by the end of the month. Working on some new leads and listings, referrals. My main focus has been really working referral sources, not directly to consumers, and that's been great. And the referral sources include attorneys, fiduciaries, and real estate agents. So it's been a great year. It's been, I'm on here really, to be honest, just to support. I think that I've built a network where I have referrals going out occasionally. I want to oversell it, make it sound like it's all that much, but I do send out referrals sometimes nationally and want to get referrals back as well. But always looking to meet good people in different markets and also see what people are doing that are best. And I will say one thing, if I could just give everybody kind of something to focus on. I'm always focused on how can I be a better probate real estate agent. I'm not as concerned about how to look like one. And that's not to say that looks aren't important, marketing's not important, but I'm just saying that you give me one or two good pieces of info of how the process works better, and I can compete my competition better on that. And I use that to sell to attorneys and fiduciaries and people who refer me business.
Yep. Amazing. We're in the world of standing out. We're in this space where we're connecting with families going through probate, and in the majority of cases, we don't have a relationship with them. Best case scenario, you don't have a relationship and they don't live in town. They're managing probate from far, and they don't know 12 other realtors because their loved one passed away and has a house in LA and they live in Nebraska. All right. So that's kind of easiest scenario where you don't have to compete with previous relationships. Hardest scenario is they live in town, and that happens a lot, that you've got a family member that's managing probate. We're pursuing a relationship with them and offering real value, not only in selling a house, but helping with the process. But you got to recognize that they probably have a realtor that they bought their house that they're with. They most likely have someone that they grew up with that's in real estate. There are other people in real estate. So how do we compete? We compete by standing out and building credibility through value and knowledge. So if you're reaching out to someone that you're in LA, they live in LA, and the family members in LA and they know 5 realtors, and you call and you go, hey, do you want to sell the house? Well, the answer might be yes. But what are the odds that the answer is yes, and I want to work with a stranger over the 5 other agents that I know? Um, Not great. Now, over time, you guys can build that credibility and that rapport, and that's really what's going to help you stand out. That's what has helped Bill stand out, is when an attorney says to their client in probate, "You need to talk to Bill," immediately that makes Bill stand out. When you can send resources to someone in probate over the course of several months before they've decided on a house, that helps you stand out. When you can build a YouTube channel and you can put videos up that educate people on the probate process, that helps you stand out. So most of these families that are in probate, and yes, there's real estate to sell, most of them in probate won't sell a house, an inherited property, for 5, 6, 8 months, 12 months in some cases. And in many cases, it's going to take a while before real estate becomes a priority on its own. Should real estate be should it be a priority sooner than 8 months from now? In most cases, they should probably, if it's going to sell, they should probably sell in the first couple of weeks. But that's not the reality. People have other things, other priorities in their life that they're focused on. And that's a good thing for us because it gives us runway to build relationship. It gives us a runway. So I'll never forget, it seems like every couple of months I tell this story. A financial advisor came up to me. We had met at a networking event. He asked me to go grab coffee with him. We grabbed a coffee. A couple of weeks later, see each other at another networking event. We grabbed lunch a month or two later. This is 4 or 5 interactions that I've had with this financial advisor, and he says to me, "Hey, what's it going to take? I'd like to manage your portfolio, and I'd like to get all your referrals." I appreciate the ask. I appreciate the ask. He was doing all the right things. And I said, not now. Not now was my answer. And I said, can I tell you why and tell you what you can do to get my business? And he said, yeah. And I said, I know about 100 financial advisors. I have financial advisors running out of my ears. There's dozens of them that I'm good friends with. Most of them I'm casual friends. I don't know if they're a good planner or not. I have no idea if they're a good financial planner. I said, for me to just automatically make a financial planner my go-to referral partner, I'm going to need to see that you know what you're doing, and I'm going to need to have a better relationship with you. I want to be a great friend of yours. If I have five financial planners and 4 of them are great friends, well, someone needs to go beyond being a great friend. They need to be the person that I look at and go, oh, there's no way I would ever let anybody manage my money except for this one person. When you have competition, that's the way that your customer needs to look at you. There's no way I would work with anybody else except for this one person. So how are you going to do that? And it has to go beyond being a casual friend and acquaintance. It has to go into the realm, if there's a relationship, of being a really close friend, if there's a relationship. And then beyond that, you need to show people through your marketing and through your communication that you know how to uncover their pain points and how to advise them on making their life easier. So you really owe it to yourself to put good marketing together around your probate program. You don't have the benefit of being great friends with 100 new leads that you got this month, but you do have the benefit of knowing that it's going to be 6 months before they sell, and that you can market to them and you can show them that you are credible, that you're a resource, that you're helping them with more than just the real estate. I'm going to shut up because we had a bunch of hands go up. I'm going to jump to James first. And those of you that came in late, forgive me. I've got a pretty severe head cold. So if I sniff and cough on you guys, that's why.
Well, luckily we're on Zoom, right, Bruce?
Yes.
So.
Yeah. No chance of catching it.
This just kind of goes back to what you were saying about the probate process being so much longer than just a typical kind of like real estate transaction. And And so even if you get some in the pipeline and they kind of fulfill all the criteria of getting mail, and what's the general strategy when you're calling them to kind of check in and there just don't seem to be many updates? Like, how do you kind of keep that momentum going? Because if you're sending out good mail and all that kind of stuff, that's great. Maybe they're getting it, maybe they're not, right? But then if you get them on the phone and it's been like 3 months since you had your initial conversation, 4 months, 5 months, I guess the first question is like, how often are you following up by phone when they're like, I haven't made a decision yet. We just got the process started. It's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the line, or like I'm fighting with the sim. I don't even know what's going to happen or who's going to be the administrator at this point, So
Yeah.
there's time. And then, so how are you kind of positioning your phone communication to kind of ride that momentum wave, if that makes sense?
Anything longer than 45 days, they're going to forget you.
Okay.
They're going to forget you. So I'm not saying do 45 days. It might be quicker, more frequent than that. But 45 days is kind of like the max that I'm going to go. When I finish a conversation, I'm always looking to set up the next conversation. Now, here's how I do not do that. Here's how I don't do that. Hey, can I call you in a month and see how things are going? All right, best case scenario, they say, yeah, sure, call me in a month. Worst case scenario, well, there's two other scenarios. Okay. And really bad is they go, no, don't bother, I'll call you. Okay. If somebody says, no, don't call me, I'll call you, they might remember that and they might get pretty bent out of shape when I do follow up. Okay. My worst case scenario and my nightmare is saying, hey, can I follow up in a month? And someone saying yes, and then immediately going to their phone and blocking or programming me in is do not answer. This is my passive aggressive nature. I have a number of people in my phone that their last name is do not answer. Okay, I don't want them to know that they're blocked, but they're just annoying. And when they were like, "Hey, let me call you back," I'm not confrontational enough to say bug off, but I'm absolutely a jerk enough to go program them in as don't answer. So I do not ask someone if I can follow up at a certain amount in a certain amount of time. It's just one of my rules. I don't do it. Some of you guys do. You may disagree. If you disagree, fine. Do your business your way. I'm not saying it's wrong. For me, I'm setting the next call up by getting them to commit to a position. So classic example, we talk about the real estate and I go, is the property something that you guys might be selling when probate finishes up? So put it way out when probate finishes up. It gives them a lot of room, a lot of, it just makes them feel like there's not a trap closing. So is the property something you guys might end up selling as probate finishes up, or is it too early to tell? And they say, yeah, I think we're going to sell. And then I'm going to say, is that something coming up in the next couple of weeks, or are you looking at a month or two out? I would always ask that question. Are something in the next couple of weeks, or are you a month or two out? So if they want to hold me off, I've given them the way to hold me off by saying a couple of months out.
Mm.
Now, when I call in 45 days, I go, hey, last time we talked, you said that you might be making real estate decisions kind of mid-November into the beginning of December. I just wanted to check and see if that was something that was still on the table or if things have changed.
Mm.
So I'm actually getting them to kind of commit that their time frame is a month or two out when they give me an answer on their real estate timing. Is it a month or two out? It could be 6 months out, but most people, when I say, "Are you doing it really soon, or are you still a month or two out?" Most people are just going to grab that month or two out option and be like, "Yeah, we're a
Mm.
month or two out." They are doing that so that they can avoid the commitment of having me ask for an appointment.
That's interesting. Okay. So then what happens when you call them back and they pick up and they're like, we're still not really, it's
Oh,
been so crazy and it's just, they're just kicking the can down the road. Like,
yeah, you guys probably have a lot going on. I imagine, and this is where I'll start pulling in something else. We want to start moving into problem awareness questions. So problem awareness, they have a problem that doesn't feel like a problem to them. All right. They have a mortgage, they have taxes, they have utility bills, they have
Mm,
insurance, they have lawn care, they have a bunch of other things happening. So I may drop a few questions and see if those questions help them become aware of the problem. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Yeah, I imagine it's probably going to be several months. No mortgage on the house or anything, is there? No, we have a mortgage. Oh, is it small? Is it something that you guys have enough to cover for 5 or 6 months? And all of a sudden, that person that's like, I wasn't even thinking about real estate in the back of their mind, they might start going, you know what? I'm losing 10 grand over the next 5 or 6 months by keeping this mortgage. So I'm letting them kind of come to the conclusion if they want to come to it, but I'm giving them a reason to think about it. Okay. Now, let's say that they don't take the bait and they don't say, you know what, this is something we need to do soon. Let's just pretend that they're stuck on there. Yeah, we got other things we're dealing with. Then I go, I completely get it. Most people don't really decide to do anything with real estate for at least 3 or 4 months. You still maybe 3 months out, something like that. And they go, yeah, I'm putting words in their mouth. I'm getting them to say, yeah, here's my timing. I've had people that were 2 months out every time I ended the call with them. They were always 2 months out. Always 2 months out. Um, they didn't volunteer that. They took the option that I gave them. So I was always saying, I imagine you guys are still month, 2 months out. Yeah, we're still a month or 2 months out. That's what I use as my reference point every time I call back. And it's always, hey, I wanted to see if that was still the plan or if things have changed a little bit. Yeah, things have changed a little bit. We haven't dealt with it. It's just another touch point for me. Truthfully, I kind of want them to be 5 or 6 months out.
why's that?
My competitor is never going to stay in front of them as long as I will. I want the months to be able to put value in front of them, to stay in touch, to separate myself. Now, I'm going to try to go for an appointment. I'm going to try, and I'm going to get an appointment frequently. But the longer they take, the more likely it is that that's eventually my business. Do I want them to take a long time? I mean, that's a double-edged sword question. No, I mean, I want to get in the house and show them a listing plan. Is it a problem if they're not ready? I know because now I have a chance, more time to separate myself.
If they're out of state, Bruce, like, are you trying to, get in the house for a quick look anyway, and then do like the, hey, your brother is here or whatever, and we can Zoom three-way call while I'm in the house. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing in place of the in-person listening if the PR is out of state?
Yeah. I mean, the PR, the out-of-state PR is always eventually coming into town.
Okay. So just
So
link up schedules.
when you when do you think you might come into town? And they go, hey, it'll probably be March. I'm in November. That's 4 or 5 months. So house probably something that you guys aren't going to deal with till then, or is there a mortgage on it? Maybe you need to do something sooner. No, we're not going to deal with it till then. Okay. Would you be if you're going to deal with it then? Yeah. You open to an estimate if I sent you one? Sure. Okay. Now, to give you something semi-accurate, it would help to be able to see the house for 10, 15 minutes. I know you're not here. Is there anyone here that maybe I could see the house with? Sometimes it's no, but normally it's a neighbor or someone will let you in, and then I'll Zoom or FaceTime them when I'm there or right after the visit.
That's real smooth, Bruce. Thank you. That's real helpful.
Think about this. You need to sit down and list out everything that someone could possibly say. And this, most of us don't look past the nose on our face, and you wait until you hear an objection the 19th time before you go, huh, maybe I should have a plan for this response. Well, why not create the plan now and list out everything that they possibly say or throw at you, question that they ask that interrupts the flow that you want to have on the conversation, and come up with a short couple of line answer to everything that they could ask or every objection that they could give you. And then the other part of that formula is your answers need to be a couple of lines, no more than like 2 sentences normally. But you have to finish every response with a question of your own. You have to. If you respond and then just try to overly explain what your answer, it's going to undermine your credibility. So think about some of the things that they're going to give you. Another thing I want you all to do is think about where your relationship is now and what your next step is. So what's your next step? So let me give you guys an example. My relationship with someone is they just told me that their attorney's doing everything for them. What's the likelihood that my next step can be, let's set an appointment up and see the house? We don't need anything. Our attorney's doing it all. Why would I say, let's set an appointment up and see the house? That's not a logical step. So, what's the next logical step that you can actually accomplish if they said our attorney's doing everything? What is it? What could it be? When they take that other step, I don't want to just give you guys all the answers.
When are the letters being issued?
Good. Hey, good. So that's more a question. So what I like to think of in steps is their new position. So their new position, the question helps get to the new position. So when are your letters being issued? What letters are you talking about? That might be their next position. What letters are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. For me, our attorney's doing everything. We don't need any help. For me, the next step I want to take them to is sending them some information on what I do in the mail. That like my end goal? No, my end goal is the appointment. I know I can't get to the appointment if they just told me that they have everything handled because their attorney's doing it all. But I can get them to agree to get something in the mail. What comes after that? Well, they probably need to give you an address. So that's the next step. What happens after that? You probably need to ask about what their long-term plans with the real estate is. Okay. If they've given you long-term plans for the real estate, now you can start to work for an appointment. But don't try to jump too far ahead of yourself. Think about if this is their position, what's the next position that I need to land them on? And then what's the next position? Most of us struggle in conversations because we haven't thought through the different positions that we're trying to move people through in a dialogue. Hand up, V. Chayas. I'm not sure who that is. Are you there? Hand just went down. Where'd it go?
My name is Virginia.
Virginia. Hey, how's it going?
Dude, how it just kind of came together. VC Hayes is what it says.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's going on?
I'm in the Connecticut market.
Okay.
And I've got a situation where they used to be old neighbors of mine, so I know them from a long time. The mother and father left, well, I should say purchased a home for the younger son. The mother has passed away. The son rented out the home. The sister, during all this time, the sister became power of attorney. It's kind of a little backstory, but anyway, she became power of attorney of her parents' home and as well as this home that her brother was living in.
Okay.
Okay. The brother has moved back home because the mother had passed away. The father was ill, now at a nursing home. So he's caring for that estate. The second estate is a rental.
Mm-hmm.
There is a tenant.
The second estate is a rental owned by the brother, owned by mom.
Owned by the parents.
Parents. Okay.
Okay. The mother passed away. Okay. Mm-hmm. The sister is the power of attorney.
Okay.
So she's going through probate on the rental.
Okay.
There's a tenant in there.
Yep.
Who will not leave. They can't evict the tenant because they have to get the mother's name off the deed first. The father's still alive. Okay. Yep. I'm sorry.
You're good.
It's confusing. Yep. So stay with me. She has asked me that once she gets her mother off the deed, she wants to put the house on the market.
Okay.
How can they get this tenant out? Well, who refuses to leave?
Is the tenant paying a reasonable rental price?
The tenant is not paying rent at all.
Oh, well, I mean, you're in Connecticut, so I don't know what the eviction laws in Connecticut are, but how? Go to eviction court. I mean, I would, I don't know, I don't
Should
understand why
that
that
be
should be
done?
done
Should
now.
that be done before she lists the home?
I would, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Either
Okay.
that or fire sale it, and basically say you're getting a deal on the house because you got to deal with the mess. I don't know if they want to
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't even
price
know
it
if that's
low.
something that's even in Connecticut.
What's the ballpark? What's the ballpark value of the house?
It was appraised at 250.
250. Okay. We're selling
But
it for
but it's
150.
been trashed too. And she
Oh,
wants to sell it for under market and because she wants to get rid of it.
we're selling
So
it for 100, and whoever the buyer is has got to deal with the tenant. But they get a deal to deal with the mess. I would there are a lot of buyers that would buy that house knowing that they've got to evict a tenant that's not paying because they're getting a really good deal. Theoretically,
mhm.
I don't know if 100 would even make it a good deal.
Right, right,
But um, you're going to have to discount if the tenant's not out of there. You're going to have to discount the property substantially because the buyer's got to deal with that mess. I would
right.
go through the eviction process and get them out now before the listing.
Okay, because they're telling her that she can't do it now until after okay, well then she has to get her mother's name off of it. And her being power of attorney for her speaking for her father.
I don't. Who's telling her that she can't do the eviction until her mother's name is off?
This was from this is Connecticut. The Connecticut police told her that, and as well as the
They
attorney that
don't
she's
know
dealing
anything
with.
about probate law.
The
The
her
police.
attorney doesn't either, I don't think. So
Okay. The executor of the estate, who is
the
her.
daughter,
Okay.
the daughter.
She should have the authority to do things on behalf of the estate, including eviction processes. Again, not a Connecticut attorney,
Yeah.
but she should have the
I'm gonna
authority.
have to I think I'm gonna have to reach out to someone else,
I
another
would
attorney and get more information.
a probate attorney. So it
Yeah.
needs to be an estate administration attorney.
Okay.
This is a great excuse for you to build a new attorney relationship. So every time I have a reason to talk to an attorney, even when I already know the answer, I'm going to reach out to a new attorney and try to form a bond.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a really good excuse, even if it don't. Yes, please call any attorney that you already know, but also use it as an excuse to call an attorney that you don't know.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Good.
All right. It seems like it's going to be a process, but
I don't
I
know.
just
I don't see why they wouldn't be able to go through the eviction process as the executor. I have no logical idea why they couldn't do that. I think they're getting some bad information. But again, Connecticut could have different laws, but that doesn't make any sense that the executor couldn't go through an eviction of a non-paying tenant.
yeah, because as I was telling her, I think it's going to be hard trying to sell it with someone in there because
Yeah.
you know,
Well, it's not hard if you price the house low enough.
well, there's always the excuse of not being home or not wanting a lockbox, and I mean, Connecticut, it's like the landlord doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The tenant
Yeah.
has and it's like they cannot be home. You can't show it. How are you going
Got
to
it.
sell it if you
Yeah.
can't get in it to see it?
Low price. I hate to keep saying low price. It's either evict or price low. One of the two.
Okay,
Yeah, one of the two. If
okay.
somebody else sees a alternative that I don't see, let me know. But it's either evict and then put it on the market, or just fire
Put it
sale
on the
price
market for
it.
a very low price and let
Yeah,
that buyer deal with it.
yeah, yeah. There's enough buyers out there that would love to deal with a problem like that if they had 100,000 equity when they walked in.
Right.
Hey. Okay. So, hey guys, I'm butting in here with a quick ask. If you're getting value out of this coaching today, I want to invite you to check out my probate mastery trainings over at www.probatemastery.com. Probate Mastery is for you if you're an agent or an investor that wants to work with motivated sellers that have inherited real estate that they don't need and in many cases can't afford. These sellers are more appreciative, willing to trust your expertise, and less likely to nickel and dime you over commission or price. Why is that? They're often in the middle of a complex probate or an estate administration process, and this means that real estate is very often a burden on them, and they simply need the help. Inside of Probate Mastery, I teach you exactly where to source your leads, how to establish value, and offer your service in a way that quickly makes you, as the professional, your market's expert in the probate space. If you want to know a little bit more, go over to www.probatemastery.com. Hope to see you guys inside of the community. Thanks. Sean's hand has been up for a
Thank you.
while. Bill, you popped yours up. Is it related to that or something different?
Related to that, I would say one of the things we've been doing of late is it's not pricing it low, it's pricing it to the market. But when we list the property, we start the eviction process, but we also put in there, we give the seller, the buyer, a credit of $25,000 if they accept the property with the occupant in the property. And we got multiple offers, and we're able to sell it.
Oh, that's a
Funny
good
story
idea.
after story. It was at court confirmation sale. I met the buyer. He called me this week saying, "Hey, do you have a good eviction attorney?" I said, "Well, why are you asking me?" And he said, "That property sold me. We're trying to get that guy out." I said, "Well, that's why we sold it to you, because I don't have any way. I'm in Los Angeles. We've basically surrendered our property to criminals here in Los Angeles." And so I said, "That's why we sold it as is, because we had no way of getting it out." And so the marginal difference between what it would sell with the tenant out and what an investor will pay for it is less than you think, because there are investors who don't know the danger and will overpay because of limited inventory, and so they'll overpay or get less of a discount than they should. So we sold several properties now where we just listed it and said, "You take over the tenant," and people have paid what we thought were really good prices for those properties.
I like that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Sean, what's up, man?
Hey, Bruce.
Hey.
All right. Well, I got a few questions here. I don't want to eat up all the time, so I'll just do it one by one, and we'll see when my cutoff time is. But
right.
I'll do an order of priority here. I'm an investor, so all the deals that I'll be talking about here are me as the buyer for these properties. They're in probate. Let's see. And I'll try to make a long story short. Got one property where the heir, who is the personal representative, opened probate probably about 2 years back. He ended up just taking off. I guess he was deployed overseas in the Army, and he just dropped the full proceedings of the court case with probate, as well as he stopped paying the mortgage, so the property went into pre-foreclosure. So I came in, I was able to contact him overseas. I was able to get a contract written up. We got everything into escrow, all the paperwork done. The only thing we were missing over here was a affidavit of personal representation from the PR. He hadn't gotten along far enough in the probate process to get that done with the probate attorney he was working with in the past. So we had to rehire her. I got him back in touch with this probate attorney, and we're letting the probate attorney know, look, this is all we need is the affidavit, and then we can go ahead and close up the escrow with his signatures. Everything looked like it was going great until the attorney just started dragging her feet. I found it's been about 3 weeks since we've requested the document, and now she comes forward and says, well, I don't think this is a very good deal.
Yeah, of course.
I think, he's not getting enough money for what the property is worth. Now, he's extremely difficult to get in touch with. Again, he's overseas. That's how I got the deal in the first place, because no one else was able to get in touch with him. So I tried to be as polite as possible to the probate attorney, but more or less I just let her say, look, the property's going to foreclosure. If we don't get any deal done, then he's going to lose everything. Her response to that was, I think it'd go for more at the auction than what you're offering it. Again, I tried to be as polite as possible and said, well, it's not that simple to collect the surplus funds, etc. Number one. And number two, I seriously doubt that it would go for more at auction. So again, I'm not sure what a probate attorney is, what their job description is. As far as I understood, he told her to get the affidavit, and she's not doing it. So I didn't know how much to push on that. it's very difficult to get in touch with the seller to have him coordinate with the attorney. Just wanted to get your guys' take on that.
Man, when you started describing this and then you said we're going back to the attorney, I knew, I knew
Yeah.
the attorney's going to try to blow the deal up. Um, so um, it makes it a little easier for me being a licensed broker. Okay. To when I bring an attorney in like that to say, look, here are the options that we gave the seller. The seller understands these options. The seller decided to go with the cash offer. And the attorney can't all of a sudden start talking to their client in the ear and going, hey, they're taking advantage of you because we showed both options. An investor without a license, maybe, I'm not saying you, but probably didn't show both options. So the attorney feels like they're trying to save their client from getting taken advantage of. In my opinion, the attorney is out of bounds on what their job is. In my opinion, going to be about 1,000 different opinions on that. I think that they are, but I see attorneys do it all the time. So you need a really good go-to probate estate administration attorney that you can take things like this to get.
And I do. That was my error, Bruce, because I work with the local probate attorney here locally. I should have just referred, the seller to that attorney, but I thought because he had already opened this probate case with the attorney, it would be more efficient just to go back to the same attorney. I'm not sure if he had already paid her a retainer. I think it's very likely, which he probably wouldn't want to double up on in another, going to another attorney. But I mean, what play do I have here? Do I just literally got to wait until they figure it out, or
You have
can
a
I push
contract,
forward?
right? You have
Yeah, there's a contract. Yeah, there's earnest money deposited. Again, we've got an auction date probably coming up end of the year.
I'd go to a real estate attorney and send the probate attorney a letter saying you're meddling in a legally binding contract. Do your job.
Okay. So you'd push forward with that. I mean, because that's really what she's there to do, is just follow the instructions. I mean,
Anybody
again,
have a different opinion? I would send a demand letter that
okay.
the attorney fulfill her obligation and get the affidavit done. Bill, Aaron,
You're muted, Bill.
not skipping
I,
over you.
I,
Bill always has good insight
I,
on these issues.
are you in California?
No, I'm in Hawaii.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't help you then.
All right.
Yeah. Would you
Okay.
do something different? I would send the attorney a demand letter. We've got a legally binding contract.
Nah, the attorneys. I mean, once they've proven themselves being effective, just put them in the box of ineffective attorneys and try to find somebody to get the job done. What I would do in California, the probate fees are limited by statute, and so when you change attorneys midstream, they can't charge double. They split up the total based on how much work got done. Again, on the Hawaii law at all. Second option is the creditor can file a competing petition for probate if the administrator is not doing his job. Then somebody else can, in California law, or anybody in California can actually file a competing petition and say, hey, this guy's not doing the job. The property's going to foreclosure. We don't protect the estate, and step in his place. And I just find once people, in my rule, once they've shown themselves being competent, I just move on. And they'll call me and say, hey, I filed this case. I started. Yeah, dude, but you did your job. Your job was not to get the money up front. Your job was to finish the job, and you didn't do it. So I wouldn't wait.
No, I've recommended that to the seller to switch over to the probate attorney that I standardly use. Of course, haven't heard back from him yet, but I guess we'll just play this one out, see how it goes.
Good luck.
Appreciate the feedback on that. Can I go up to second deal we got here?
Sure. And then if you've got more, I'm going to go to Aaron, then I'll come back to you.
No problem
Let's
at
go
all.
to the second one now.
All right, so this one is a little unfamiliar, and this may depend on which state the deal is in. But again, this deal is in Hawaii. There's let's see, pretty much all my deals that I find are through pre-foreclosure, and a number of them just end up being probate cases. So this one in particular, the pre-foreclosure has been going on for quite a while. Probate has not yet been opened, and it seems like the lender is pushing for foreclosure. So my question is, and again, this may be state specific, can the lender foreclose before probate is even open and a legal representative is even assigned?
Absolutely.
And that's nationwide as far as you know?
as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay. So they have the potential. I mean, most of the cases that I see, the bank opens a probate because they can't find a legal representative of the property. Or they or
And
they
what
figure out the owner has had.
they will open probate. So yes, they will open probate.
Okay, so if a probate case has not been opened even by the lender, then we're not really at risk of the actual foreclosure, right? They got to open the probate
This is
first.
a interesting one, but I don't want to put my neck out on this one and say that you're absolutely right. I agree that they need to open probate, um, and they need to run a notice to heirs basically. And Bill's got some insight again, so they're going to need to open notice. So they're probably not going to foreclose until that part's been done. Bill.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm telling the sellers or the heirs the proper information that look, you got to get on it right away. There's going to foreclose versus, hey, it's probably going to take a little while for the bank to petition the probate. So it looks like we got some time to try to figure this out.
I don't think the bank has to petition the probate. My experience is in many states, certainly California, but I also work with a national servicer. They can go to foreclosure regardless. The only notice the state's going to get is most states you have to post the property, you publish notice of foreclosure, whatever that process is. My experience is the opposite. They're rushing through, hoping probate doesn't get open because if probate gets open, they're going to get delayed to do the foreclosure. So I'm not aware of any state where the lack of probate will forestall foreclosure. The opposite. I'm aware of many cases in many states. In fact, every state I'm aware of, they can foreclose regardless of the estate because it's a lien against the property. It's not a lien against the person.
Interesting.
I'm getting a couple of different answers with my research. So I'm getting what my original position is no probate. Bill's position, no probate. I typed in Hawaii and it says the bank will generally have to go through court supervised probate to foreclose on a house
That is what I've seen in
solely
general and all the,
owned by the
sorry.
decedent. And that seems to be Hawaii
Okay.
because other searches they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I may ask my probate attorney. I haven't gotten a definite answer yet.
Hey, David Cordero, do you know in Hawaii?
No, I don't. But it does sound right with the foreclosure thing. The foreclosure laws in Hawaii are really weird and much different than other states. In fact, even if you win, I mean, if you win a foreclosure auction, you could have a second bid at court.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the Wild West. It's a little different than other states. Whereas in Oregon and California, where I've done foreclosures, it was much different.
Yeah.
Like you'd buy it at auction and you're done.
It would appear, at least Google thinks, that they have to go through probate to foreclose, where Google also says that as a general rule of thumb, banks can foreclose without going through probate. Let's not trust Google, but at least it gives us a little bit of a starting point. Dig into that. Contact a couple of attorneys on that one. I wish I had better answers. Those are interesting
Yeah.
scenarios. Hopefully, by the time we get to the third, I'll be able to give you something.
Oh, the third one's a jackpot. You haven't seen anything yet. All right,
Awesome.
I'll wait for you to come back to me. Thanks very much,
I'll
Bruce.
come back to you in a sec. Hey, Aaron, how are you?
Good. So I have an attorney that I've been working with for a long time now that refers all of his estates to me. And I've really enjoyed doing it. But he's starting to slow down and he's retiring. And so I'm looking at my business slowing down. So I'm trying to pick it up and I'm looking to like start reaching out to additional attorneys. I had years ago reached out to one and I was getting a lot from her. And I just like kind of stomped into her office and introduced myself as a probate real estate agent. And yeah, she gave, but I'm not getting enough. So I just need to put myself out there and meet more of these attorneys and try and get their business. And at the beginning of the call, you said that that's kind of what you were doing, looking for referral sources. How do you go about doing that?
So me and there a couple of other people do things a little bit differently. So I'll have Bill, if he heard the question, I'll have him chime in here in a second, and I'll tease what his answer is going to be. He does podcasts with them. Okay. Some people go to court and they sit in the probate hearings and they get to see the probate attorneys and become a familiar face. Me, I call the law office and I ask for the person that handles intake for new estate administration cases. So who handles new client onboarding and intake for estate administration? Almost never the attorney, by the way. That's the person that I want to build my first relationship with. So who handles the new client intake? That person is almost always going to have a better relationship with with the clients than the attorney will. They handle 10 times the work, 10 times the communication. In my opinion, they're the better referral partner. Okay, maybe they're a paralegal, maybe they're a secretary. Okay, so I ask who does that, and then I tell a story. My story is pretty much always the same, and it's generic enough to where it's always true. But I don't overstate what I do. Attorneys get really bent out of shape when you try to say, "Hey, I'm a certified probate expert," which we are. If you've been through probate mastery, you are. I tell everyone else that I'm a certified probate expert, but I don't tell attorneys that because they're like, what do you take a 10-hour class online? I went to law school. I passed the bar. You're not an expert. That's the attitude. So I just skip that part with them. So what I do is I say I'm a real estate broker here in the area. And it seems like over the last year or so, I had a couple of my clients that were going through like a probate type of process, and they were asking me some questions that I I just realized I probably need to steer some of that stuff to someone that does probate. Do you guys do probate estate administration? And they always say yes, always. And then I go, if I run into people like that in the future, do you think I could bring them to you? What are they going to say? No?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, obviously we don't know each other very well. Is there a chance maybe in the next week that I could stop by and see your practice for 10, 15 minutes, maybe put a face with a name? And they go, yeah. Okay. So now I have a meeting. Most of the time that lower level person will say, hey, make it Thursday because our managing partner is going to be there. If but I don't ask for the managing partner. It just so happens that they'll usually say, hey, do it at such and such a time because that's when this managing partner. Now, ironically, when they do that, they would have almost always shut me down if I'd called asking for the partner. So if I called and I said, hey, I want to speak with this partner, who are you? What's this about? Maybe I talk to him, maybe I don't. But this way that I'm doing it where I'm kind of buttering the gatekeeper up, they almost always go, hey, you know what? You should do it on Thursday because our partner is going to be here that day. So it's kind of a way around that. And then I don't go in and talk about my probate expertise and experience or anything like that. I'm there to interview them. And then through the relationship, I'll ask for referrals. But I don't go right into the office asking for referrals. Now, I'm going to ask, but that's not the primary purpose of the meeting. And I don't try to blindside them by asking. I might bring it up toward the end of a meeting.
So you ask for who the person is that handles intake of new estates.
New clients like probate and estate work.
Probate and estates. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Can I sneak one more question real quick?
Sure.
You had talked about mentioned questions when you're on the phone with the executrix, and some questions to open-ended questions. And someone said, have you received your letters yet?
Mm-hmm.
What letters would those be? I know the letter of testamentary or
yeah.
Is there additional letters besides that? Okay.
Not normally. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's a really good question because they don't typically know. And they don't know what letters. So the same way that you're going, what letters are those? They're going, what letters are those? They probably have it sitting on their desk, and they don't know what to refer to it. So it opens up conversation. Which, by the way, that's a good question. My go-to questions normally early in the call are, is probate something that you just started or are you almost finished? They lie frequently. We're almost done. That's fine. Do you have an attorney or are you doing it independently? Why do I ask that question? Somebody tell me why I ask. Do you have an attorney or are you going through probate independently?
It's an opportunity for you to refer it to him, right?
Yes, but there's a bigger reason. So first time I've had a conversation with someone, we don't know each other. What is the first objection that most of them are going to give me?
I have an attorney.
I have an attorney, don't need you. Okay. So knowing that they're going to say I have an attorney, I want them to say I have an attorney and I want them to say it on my terms so that it's yes, I have an attorney, not no, I have an attorney, I don't need you. So I move to the attorney question. So something about where in the process they are, just started, most of the way finished. Do you have an attorney or are you working through it through probate independently? And they go, yes, we have an attorney. And then I usually like to ask a question along the lines of, is there anything that I could do for you at the moment, or do you have everything handled? We have everything handled happens to be another objection that everybody throws out. So I want to take those objections that they were going to push anyway and turn them into yes, positive responses to my question. Because I can deal with, yeah, I think we have everything handled for now. I can't deal with, no, I don't want what you just offered. We have everything handled. So same response, different attitude. So I like to ask questions that actually cause them to give me the objections that were going to be coming later anyway, but give them to me on my terms. Right. And the letters is a great question. Another really good question is, have you ever been through probate before, or is this your first time? Another great question. Do you have any family members in the area that are helping out, or is this kind of all on your shoulders? Those are all just kind of figuring out what their situation is. They're not influential questions. They're just kind of getting the lay of the land so that you know where to take that conversation. All right. Was that your one more question, Aaron, or did I miss one? That was
Yes,
okay.
that was it.
All right, cool. Sean, back to you. Let's hear the granddaddy.
All right. Again, this one's a long story. There is, let's see, I'm dealing with it's a condo unit actually, and there are two estates involved, the state of the husband and the state of the wife. Not to get into the grisly details, but it was a murder homicide case. And situation, murder suicide, I'm sorry, murder suicide. And so obviously the families of both of the decedents are not on good terms and will not work with each other. Therefore, the mortgage hasn't been being paid. The place hasn't been renting out. It's going to foreclosure as well. I've jumped in with a partner on this one, tried to play, mediator. The idea that he's come up with actually is instead of guiding them through the process of selling the property, where they would both have to be signing the same contracts, etc., is just jumping in and getting the PR deeds from both sides. That way they don't have to do any of the legal work. We just give them a flat fee up front, get them out of the picture, and go through the probate and sale ourselves. I'm not familiar with that process, so I just wanted to see what input you guys had on that.
You got some wild ones. Foreclosure. Oh, yeah. Okay, so foreclosure. So obviously you're starting there, and then you're moving into probate. So it's going to add some complexity to a lot of your deals.
Always.
I've heard of this being done a handful of times. You would need to have all the heirs basically sign that they don't want to go through probate, that they don't want the property, that they'll sign over their rights as beneficiaries to the estate in exchange for a fee, and that you're allowed to proceed with administering the estate.
Right. So that is possible, obviously. I've heard of it being done in other scenarios also. And so what would happen with if there are any other assets within the estate? Would that be our responsibility as well, or is this just dealing with the real estate?
Yeah, all of a sudden you're making yourself responsible for doing the final taxes for the decedents.
Right.
You're making yourself responsible for doing the final estate accounting. You're making yourself responsible for the other assets.
Yeah, which I don't think there are any as far as my research tells me. So hopefully that won't be an issue.
Did the decedents do their taxes?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
Good thing to research, yeah.
Somebody needs to do the taxes in the year that they were last alive. So if it was If they passed away in May this year, then 2025 taxes have to be filed for both decedents. And you've got to do a tax accounting, an audit, and an accounting for the file a final tax return for the estate as well.
For both estates, right? Because
For
there's
both
two estates
estates.
involved.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that
So
sounds
both
fun.
individuals and both estates.
Yeah. Now, in that scenario, there was a special administrator involved because, again, the bank had to petition foreclosure, so they had to
Mhm.
petition the probate. So, because none of the heirs wanted to step up as personal representatives, there was a special administrator involved. If
Mhm.
we were to step in as the beneficiaries, would the special administrator still be involved in this transaction, or would she be
Should.
relieved? She should be.
I'm not saying she has to be, but she should be. If I was stepping in as beneficiaries and buying out the interest of the other beneficiaries, I would want the special administrator to be involved. I wouldn't want any part of doing the accountings and the audits.
Okay, so we would be obviously responsible for paying her or
Yes.
paying the special administrator. And would you recommend getting a probate attorney to represent us in this case as well?
Special administrator oftentimes has enough expertise
To do that.
to kind of navigate without an attorney.
Got it.
If you would prefer that your attorney, a probate attorney, take over the responsibilities of administering the estate, then get rid of the administrator.
I
You
see.
don't need
Don't no
both.
no need both. Okay,
Yeah, you
perfect.
don't need both.
Got it. All right. That promises to be a fun one. One last question. This isn't in regards to any specific case. With a lot of them that I have coming across my plate. Uh, I've seen many times where there's no equity within an estate, meaning regarding the real estate, it's upside down.
Yep.
Have you ever seen a special administrator agree to a short sale when it's a insolvent estate? There's no equity within the estate.
No,
There would be no reason why they would, right?
no. I've seen families do that.
To
And
take over the
normally
property
it's
themselves.
no, normally if they agree to a short sale, it's usually just out of
Sentimental,
sentimental reasons. Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why
But
they would, but I wouldn't.
yeah, no reason to. And an administrator has even less of a reason. They have no sentimental attachment
That's
to the
right.
property. It's just more paperwork for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've never seen a bank allowing an administrator to be paid for their service, a short sale bank? I know this is getting in the nitty gritty. Allowing an administrator to be paid for their services to transact a short sale? Because the banks don't want to take these properties back via foreclosure. They'd be happy if you get a short sale done, regardless of if the property's in probate.
Sure. I mean, if they do a short sale, they're gonna give I can't remember what the sheet's called. It's like a term sheet saying these are the terms that we would agree to.
Mhm.
So I would submit a contract, and most of the time this is done on listing, not on contract. But I would submit a contract, and I would submit the basically fee sheet of everybody that's involved,
Mhm.
and say, would you allow a short sale on these with these people involved? And they'll send you, if they're going to approve, they'll send it back and say, yeah, you have $30,000. This is the price that we have to have.
You're talking about the
bottom
lender right
line.
now, to submit it
And
to the
you,
lender, right?
yeah, lender, and you have $30,000 to split among the parties that are involved.
Well, that's not even possible because we don't have authorization to speak with the lender because we're not a party of the case. In order to
This is
even
true.
speak with the lender, we got to get access from the special administrator. And I actually had one special administrator willing to do a short sale. It never ended up panning out. Every other person I spoke with said they didn't even want to talk about it or start the process. And I do understand why.
I think that a special administrator, I haven't seen a special administrator proceed with a short sale. I don't know what benefit there would be, but I could see some scenarios where the lender might be willing to pay a special administrator.
Yeah.
As a middle person, an example, and this isn't a special administrator, the person that I do short sales through always charges 2%. Okay. And essentially what it is most banks, when you do a short sale, they will pay a certain amount of the buyer's closing costs.
Okay.
And this short sale negotiator says to the buyer, my fee is 2%. My fee is to you. we're probably going to get you a 4% allowance on closing cost. Half of it needs to come to me to pay me for conducting the
Sure.
negotiation for you. So
Sure.
could a special administrator kind of take that role and take a piece, take some of what the bank was willing to pay in closing costs for the buyer?
Yeah.
Sure. I think there's a way to work that out.
It might be an idea to get a realtor who specializes in short sales and getting those funds in touch with a special administrator to let them know that they can be paid for their services. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Great.
And then explore it. I mean, I've never done it with an administrator, but I've done it with another party that negotiates short sales. I don't know why an administrator wouldn't be able to do it.
Perfect. All right. I'll check that one out as well. And that's it for me, Bruce. Thanks so
All right.
much for your
Thanks,
time.
Sean. Yep. Okay. So who's FD? You're on mute.
This is actually a question for Sean. I specialize in land and I get, decent air probate properties, and they're fairly smooth to run through. I have just got to ask this question. Where are you getting your leads that are so challenging? I mean, are they coming from an attorney, or are these bank REO things and they're just throwing up their hands going, I can't do anything with this kind of deal? I'm just curious more than anything. Those are a couple of real unique deals, and I'm wondering who's throwing them at
Oh,
you.
that's just the beginning. No, all of these are pre-foreclosure deals. So I get a pre-foreclosure list, or I actually go down to the county and look through their notice of defaults. And again, the
Okay.
challenging ones are always when it's a pre-foreclosure and there's no owner in sight. Either probate hasn't been opened or the heirs are just kind of MIA. So and again, these are just the ones that are on the surface. There's a lot more. I wouldn't even recommend it to anyone. These deals
Yeah,
are
I don't know that I
crazy.
would dive that deep into
Yeah.
that, but I had to ask that question because
That's where you get the fun
somebody's
ones.
throwing you
Yeah.
the things that nobody else is going to work on, it sounds
Yeah.
like.
The pre-foreclosure leads are always the funnest ones. You always get some kind of an adventure with all of them.
Yeah, you don't see too many of those in land, unfortunately, but
no.
yeah, that's interesting.
And you add
Thanks for
probate
answering.
into the mix, and it's going to be even more.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
But-
I've chased international heirs, 11 heirs, 15 heirs,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to land and they inherit it. They're, generationally, they're all over the place. So I have
Yeah,
those
but-
kind of challenges, but nothing like, the pre-foreclosure stuff. That's
But
on top
like
of.
Bruce said, I mean, if it's that difficult for me to get in on these deals and figure it out, no one else is doing it either. So there's a lot of discounted,
So there's
steeply
a real niche
discounted
within a
deals out
niche
there.
there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, more power to you, buddy.
Thank you.
I spoke with someone a couple of weeks ago who only deals with really messy, complicated situations where he'll essentially go in and buy people out. And he says that there's normally a couple of years of work to get these real estate or business deals. So normally probate, real estate or business deals through the probate process. And he'll buy at fire sale prices knowing that it's going to be 2 years of work before he gets a payday. But when he gets a payday, it's typically going to be $300K. So he might pick up 5 or 6 deals like that every year that he knows 2 years before I'm ever going to see any of this money back. But when I see it back, I'm going to see a whole lot.
Can I get his number?
Niches. Yeah, sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I think I was supposed to send that to you anyway, wasn't I? Yeah, I was. Yeah. Sorry, David. I got sick. That's my excuse.
No worries at all.
All right. Okay, guys. Appreciate everybody being here. I got a coaching call that I got to get to. Real quick little commercial. Our partnership program is launched for people that are interested in becoming partners, which is essentially where we share cost and we share revenue in your markets, but have to run my business model. Period. There's a whole bunch of business models. You guys heard Sean's business model a second ago. There's a whole bunch of great business models that work really well. I run one specific one, and it's not because it's the best one. So I don't want anyone being like, hey, Bruce teaches probate mastery. There's only one way to do it. There's not. It's just the one that I picked. And my business model is the lazy person's business model because I don't want to be involved until there's a hot relationship ready to go. So I pay everybody else to set it up to that point. So if anyone does want to look at exploring that in your market, we're officially launched, and I'm about to drop a discovery call link into chat for those of you that want to talk to one of our what we're calling success managers. Our Calendly link just went in there if somebody wants to explore it. It's rolling out. Got a couple little wrinkles that we've been ironing out, and we're still putting a few missing pieces in place, but it's doing pretty good. Last month, I got like 60 warm, hot-ish leads in my market that I started a relationship with. So that's available in a lot of other markets if you're interested. And I'll leave you guys with that. If you want more information, grab some time on that Calendly link that I just put in chat. Appreciate you guys being here. See you next time.